Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka Jay Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for November 7th, Tuesday, November 7th of 2023. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. And yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the transits for today. A little bit late me getting this out, so I do apologize for that. I do realize that one thing I really want to work on is actually getting these out earlier and probably honestly doing just like a weekly. That way you guys can kind of see things at a glance. And then maybe each day do like a little like mini video, just as a sort of like a little update, or maybe even just draw like a card for each day or something like that. But I am wanting to restructure things on the channel as far as like how I put out the content. I still want to put out something every single day, but I want to restructure it. I just got to find the day that makes the most sense for me to do the like a weekly forecast, which honestly at this point it's looking like it's going to be Sunday. And if anything, if it's on Sunday, it's going to have to be like before all the games come on, because of course I watch football and stuff. So more than likely that's what it's going to end up being. So here's to, next Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, I can do like an actual like weekly video and do like little mini updates throughout the week and stuff. Because sometimes I feel like I'm almost doing you guys a disservice by putting these out on the day and as late as it is, because by this time, like, your day is going. Especially those of you on the East Coast, especially those of you that happen to be viewing in Europe and stuff. Just want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can, providing the best service to you guys. So yeah, um, that's some straight up Venus at the end of Virgo type shit in my 10th house, because that's where my midheaven is Virgo. So that's straight up the moon on top of my Jupiter in Vesta right now as well. So I have Jupiter in Virgo at 11 degrees, progress 14 degrees. So, anyways, y'all didn't come here to listen to me talk about that sort of stuff. Y'all came here for the astrology. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we do, of course, still have the Sun, Mars, and Mercury here in Scorpio. We are fully into this Scorpio season, which of course is wanted to get to the bottom of things. After all, Scorpio is a very investigative sign. It's also the sign of shared resources, and a lot of times where whenever the sun's in Scorpio, a lot of times we like to start to focus on success. Being with Capricorn being that third house, and we start to ask ourselves what we value as far as Sag energy, as far as like the things that we value, our belief structures, and how those belief structures may manifest, financial wealth and money. So those are some other aspects are coming up too. And of course, this is a time where, kind of, our shadows may come out to play a little bit more, and we have to learn how to dance with those shadows, right? We do have, of course, Venus here at 29 degrees of Virgo, so that's going to bring about a little bit of edge today. It's still enshrined to Pluto, about a degree off, but it's still enshrined to Pluto, so you can still say that this is going to be ongoing. And, Venus is happy to be getting out of Virgo. It's happy to be going into Libra. Now, granted, like I said, the South Node is in Libra, so it's not exactly going to be the best time in Libra for this Venus, right? Because when Venus comes on top of the South Node, a lot of like the darker, shadowy aspects of Venus can really start to come out, you know what I'm saying? And we can start to, this is a time where we may be overly concerned with, I guess, beauty and money, but the South Node is like by any means necessary, and putting your wants over other people's needs and shit, especially with all this energy in Scorpio, which is, unlocking a lot of desire within people. And desire isn't inherently a negative thing either. I think it's when we become overly attached to those desires is when we start to really falter. And ironically, of course, Scorpio is a fixed sign, so we can definitely become emotionally attached to these desires. And then when we don't fulfill these desires, we can start to kind of lash out at the people around us. and start to close herself off and kind of build that ice wall that Scorpio is. So just something to be wary of with this Venus being at the edge of Virgo. We're trying to figure things out. We're wanting to have a plan. We want things to almost seem like we want things to seem perfect too. This is Venus is taking a long time to get ready for this date, if you will. I mean, she's not really gonna go on a date with anyone, but like if you just say like Venus at the end of Virgo, this is like someone taking like 5 hours to do all their makeup and shit and all these little miscellaneous things to get ready for this date. And it's like, damn, we missed our reservations. You know what I'm saying? It's like now I gotta take you to the Cheesecake Factory. If you know, you know. But this is the last full day of Venus here at Virgo. So, especially coming off of a opposition to Neptune, right? This could be definitely an energy where it's like, man, we could really be getting caught up in, you know, wanting things to look a certain way, wanting things to be perfect, but we want to receive things a certain way too. That's the other part about this. It's like, Venus, it does rule, it does traditionally rule Taurus. So there's an aspect of our values, of our finances and money, but then there's also the relationship aspect, and it's coming into Libra, its home sign, coming into the decan that it's ruled, and that's sort of this interesting thing is that with this energy, we're really are having to acknowledge that when it comes to these things, when it comes to money, finances, value, relationships, and how we want to receive these things, it's not always going to align with the way that we see things in our mind. It's not always going to align with how we want it to look like. And it's like we live in a world now where if it doesn't go perfect, and if like the moment that someone gets triggered, it's like they start painting the whole world or all these people as all of these buzzword psychology terms, right? That's the interesting thing about this Venus and Virgo. You gotta think it's the third house to it is Scorpio. This is very much so a very psychological kind of energy, and especially with the moon here as well, it's just going to add fuel to this where people could be throwing around psychological and psychiatric terms and babble around and just using it as a strange form of currency to try and get what they want or to get sympathy from other people or empathy. And people don't even really understand what these terms actually mean. People don't actually know what a narcissist actually is. And people automatically think that if someone's a narcissist, that they're automatically going to just feed into every single narcissistic tendency that they have, when that's not the case. We all have different tendencies that we need to not act on. And or I guess you could say suppress, but at the very least learn how to dance with that shadow and not allow that shadow to consume us. We all have different shadows. We all have different vices, if you will. And it's just whether or not we actually allow those things to come out and dominate our lives. But Venus at the end of Virgo going into Libra, but the South Node is that some people are going to. This is a day where, especially when it comes to relationships, man, like people may blow up their relationships because it doesn't look perfect. And then it's going to go into Libra and they're going to think that the grass is greener on the other side. But then they got to meet up with that South Node, which is going to be like, are you sure you want this? If you are going around and every single person you meet is an asshole, you might be the asshole. I think we forget about that. How, you got to remember Venus rules Libra. Libra is one of the signs of duality. The signs of duality are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, the air signs. They are all duality. Gemini is the twins. Libra is the scales, trying to balance that out. And Aquarius, like I said, is two sine waves on top of each other, right? So it's about your vibration. And, we're doing our best right now. People are doing their best to try and figure out their vibration stuff. But like, this is definitely going to be a time where you want to just be cautious and wary of those who project their own insecurities and project their own kind of honestly warped vision of how the world should be and how the world should treat them. Because there are people out here that are like, oh my God, the world is treating me a certain way. Why is the world treating me this way? And it's like, well, who said that you were supposed to get all of your wants and needs met 100% of the time? I think that's the thing that we have to remember here. We have to find some sort of resilience and some sort of resolve when things don't go our way. And that's what the Scorpio energy is going to be teaching us, right? And what these oppositions to Jupiter are teaching us, these oppositions to Uranus are teaching us. Mars is going to be getting closer to that opposition, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, we do have the moon that's going to be in trine to Jupiter today, which is pretty nice. So that's going to provide like a nice little harmonious energy there. But of course, like I said, Jupiter is retrograde, so it's going to feel more deflating than anything. And when we're looking at our day-to-day reality and trying to like really, we want to almost like feel perfect, but emotions aren't going to necessarily feel perfect. And it can provide a little bit of a challenge. This is one of the more interesting trines, because I don't think it's necessarily going to be the easiest on most people. They're not going to be able to see the harmony in this. They're not going to be able to, understand. This is about seeing the gifts in our day-to-day reality. Jupiter, this trine of Jupiter, this is about seeing what's already working, the beautiful things that we do have. It's about being grateful for those things, and that's the thing too. It's like we have to find that balance between being like overly humble and not really having anything to go for, or any desire to go for, or anything to strive for, or wanting more. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with wanting more, desiring more, but we have to, like, if you're constantly just focused on that and you're not acknowledging the things that you do have, the things that are working out in your life, those relationships that are working out in your life, and then you kind of setting yourself up. You gotta have an attitude of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what this comes down to, with that moon shining over to Jupiter. Of course, that's only going to last for a little bit, but it's going to come off of that trine, and we're not going to really see a whole lot of other major aspects today. We're going to see by the end of the day, you're really going to see, that moon is going to make a sextile over to the sun, which is nice. And it does create this yod, if you will, with Chiron. It's 15, 15, and 16, but it does create this yod. So moon sextiling over the sun provides a nice little opportunity for us to, especially since these guys are at the midpoint of their respective signs as well. This is about finding that balance, find that balance in our day-to-day reality, find that balance in those deeper things that we want in our life, those deeper needs that we need, those deeper needs that we need. This is also about trust. Can we trust that, no matter how our day-to-day reality looks and the service that we provide or whatever, do we trust that there's power there, there are gifts there? Do we trust that we can make it through these? And with the aspect of Chiron that these guys are making, this yod is pointing over to Chiron, awkward stare from across the room to an awkward energy that's retrograde and Aries. This is definitely about, what is the unique aspect of yourself? What is the unique gift that you have that maybe is coming off the back of something crazy? Maybe it's coming off the back of a loss that you might have taken in the past. You might have taken a big L in the past. But what is something that you can teach to the world? We forget that Chiron is a teacher. So it's like you have something, you have a gift, you have a power that you can teach to the world. And only you can do that. Only you can do that thing. And, I think we get caught up because we want like a large audience. We're in the age of social media where we just feel like if we don't have thousands upon thousands of people viewing our stuff or watching our things, that it means that it's invalid or something like that. And, that's not true. You got to understand some of the most important people, some of the greatest teachers are probably not very well known. Right? They're probably not very well known. But their students could be very well known. And then when those students achieve a certain level of success and they write their autobiographies and everything like that, and they do their interviews and stuff later on in life after they have these successes, they're like, yeah, so I had this awesome teacher. And this dude, I mean, y'all didn't really know him like that. He wasn't like a big deal, or she wasn't a big deal, but she was the one that guided me. She was the one that taught me, and she's the reason why I am who I am today. And they are the reason why I made it to this point, because they believed in me and they guided me and they held me accountable and they held me in integrity, and they kept pushing me. And y'all don't know him. This person, I mean, yeah, but the people that did know him, it's like, yeah, the people that did know him know that they made a difference. And that's really what counts. Perfect example I have in my life is my dad. My dad doesn't have millions of followers on different social media accounts, but this dude always has people. He always has people reaching out to him. Random people reaching out to him. People, whether it's friends or family or people that he will meet through business and stuff like that at the different events at the event facility and parties, whatever like that. Guests, clients from like years ago that he had will reach out to him and ask, and we'll run things by him and kind of ask for counsel and shit. And like I said, I don't know who my dad is. Like, he's not, like I said, he's not like some like super, super famous person, but he's famous in his own right. And I think it's like we have to acknowledge our part in this. We have to acknowledge, what we can bring to the table, what we teach. And I think this moon sextiling the sun as they, quincunx Chiron together is really important, as far as like really showing us, and this happens towards the end of the day, right? It's really important in showing us just, how important it is to continue to play our part and do our part, even when it feels like we maybe could do more or maybe we want more. And that's the thing about this too. It's at the top of the chart, at least here in Smyrna at this point. Like, it's at the top of the chart. So it's going to be like kind of put on a pedestal, if you will. It's going to be put at the top of the mountain. I think we want to be at the top of the mountain. We want to be, it's like we want the adoration in many ways. You may be surprised at just how big your impact is. This aspect provides us an opportunity to really see our impact, and we'd be like, wow, it's maybe just helping that one person or that other person a day. That's what really counts. We get so caught up in everything being sensationalized and wanting to reach thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people and stuff. But you're a difference maker, whether it's one person or 100 people or 1,000,000 people. You're a difference maker. And that is the light work. The light work isn't just trying to reach the most people possible. The light work is those day-to-day conversations, Moon and Virgo, it's those day-to-day conversations where you reach a level of intimacy with somebody and you're able to, maybe you even kind of bounce off, like, maybe you're going through some stuff, they're going through some stuff, but y'all kind of come together and convene, and then y'all kind of have like this deeper understanding of your situations, and kind of maybe you find a solution, but at the very least, you kind of can lean on each other a little bit and kind of grow and evolve. I had 2 really good conversations like that back to back yesterday that were pretty much that. And I was just like, wow, the universe brought these people to me. I've met them before with some of my guests at work, but it's just that day, the way the energy was, those are the conversations with those people that came up. And it was very healing. And I could tell that we kind of gassed each other up too, right? So it's like, you got to gas each other up. That's the thing about this, so utilize this energy to the best of your ability, because we definitely need it right now. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of feeling warm. People are feeling tired. People are feeling on edge. And because they are so focused on external realities that they cannot control, right? That's the problem. And they're being told that they need to have an opinion on these things and take sides on external circumstances that they cannot control. and they're a lot more complex than what's being portrayed. So you don't want to get caught up in that. You don't want to get caught up in that. Focus on the things that you can control and start there. Let's go ahead and hop into the cards. So. Oh. Let's see what we got going on. Whoa! All those cards fell out. I'm gonna shuffle it back in because that was a decent amount of cards that fell out. So, all right, let's see what we got. Yeah, we have the Six of Wands. This is about finding those day-to-day victories, realizing your successes. And maybe it's a little bit hard for you to see those successes right now. Maybe you're being a little too critical on yourself with that Venus at the end of Virgo getting ready to come into its home sign. So we gotta find those victories. You know what I'm saying? That's followed by, we have the Nine of Cups. This could be a very beautiful energy about having that emotional fulfillment, knowing that we actually can make it too, and, realizing our successes, acknowledging those successes. And that's the thing about this. Like, there is somebody somewhere that has worked on their craft for hundreds of years. And I'm seeing like someone who makes, birdhouses. That's the first thing that came to mind. There's somebody somewhere that has the most beautiful birdhouses in their workshop, and they have tons of them. And no one really knows who they are. Maybe they sell them, maybe they just give them away to people. But what brings them the joy and the fulfillment is not the adoration of other people for his craft. It's simply him doing his craft and putting his hard work and sweat equity into his craft and the satisfaction that comes from that. So many people are trying to get satisfaction from other people, adoration and stuff like that, and that's how they get their serotonin or their dopamine fixes, right? It's really more dopamine fixes, but this is about a deeper sense of satisfaction that people are missing in their life. And today can be a day where we can see that. It's like, look at all of these things that I have created here and stuff like that. So what? Maybe no one really sees it, or maybe a few people only see it, but it's that deeper sense of satisfaction, right? That you put in this work and you put in this effort, and that is what counts. There's somebody somewhere that makes quilts, and they have made like 100 quilts, right? And maybe they sell them, maybe they don't, but they just do it because they love doing it, and they just love doing it, and it's just the joy of doing it, and that is where they get their emotional satisfaction from. Bottom of we got 10 of Cups. Come on now, come on with the come on. It's a beautiful energy. Yeah, I think sometimes we can get really caught up in our head and wanting things to look a certain way, and we fail to see those daily victories. But you got to build up those daily victories, because daily victories lead to weekly victories and monthly victories and yearly victories and lifetime victories. You got to win the day. You know what I'm saying? So some days are going to be, some days with your wins, you're going to blow it out of the water. Some day wins, they're going to be close. Some days you're going to go into overtime, right? And you have to kick that last minute field goal to try and get the win. Some days you may lose, but at least you learn something. You score points, you learn something. You can go back, watch film, recalibrate. But, there are certain ways in that game that you did win. There are certain battles within that game that you might have won. Even if you lost the game, you live to fight another day. Maybe some days you get completely destroyed. Maybe some days you get beat like 40-0, and you struggle to find any bright spot or any victory. You showed up. You know what I'm saying? You gave it your best effort. You just got steamrolled. But we have to be honest about the days where we feel like we get steamrolled. And I think there's this element here within the spiritual community, especially, is like not wanting to acknowledge the days where we just get absolutely steamrolled. We try to put off this farce, everything's going well, but it leaks out. Like people see it, it'll leak out. Oh man. Anyways, that's going to do it for this astrology forecast. Someone's just knocked on my door, so I got to go ahead and go. But anyways, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day. I will see you guys on the next astrology forecast. Peace.